The sound of laughter echoed through the city park that afternoon. Children chasing one another, parents chatting on benches, and leaves rustling softly as a gentle breeze swept across the grass. But in the middle of all that joy, a little girl sat alone on a swing, her small hands gripping the chains as if the world around her might crumble if she let go. Her eyes, wide and glistening with unshed tears, darted nervously toward the playground gate every few seconds as though she were afraid of something or someone. Nearby, a young woman in faded jeans and a worn-out sweater was watching from her seat under a tree. Her name was Clara Benson, a 26-year-old nanny barely making ends meet. She wasn't supposed to be at the park that day, her only day off, but she'd come to clear her head after getting fired by her last employer for being too emotional. It wasn't the first time someone had told her that. People said she cared too much, about the children she looked after, about people she barely knew, even about stray animals she found on the street. But caring was all Clara had left, it was who she was. And as she looked at that trembling little girl on the swing, she felt something deep inside her stir, that instinct, that ache of compassion she could never turn off. If you love stories about kindness, hope, and the beauty of humanity, make sure to like this video, leave your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to Kindness Universe for more inspiring stories that touch the heart. Clara stood up slowly, brushing off her jeans. She didn't want to scare the child, so she approached softly, kneeling a few feet away. "Hey there, sweetheart," she said gently. "You okay? Did you lose someone?" The girl didn't answer. She just shook her head, clutching a small pink stuffed rabbit tighter to her chest. Clara noticed the way her lip trembled, the way she kept glancing toward the trees beyond the park fence. "You don't have to be scared," Clara continued, her voice as warm as sunlight after rain. "You're safe here, I promise." After a few moments the girl whispered, "My name's Lily. Daddy said he'd be right back, but it's been a long time." Her voice cracked on the last word, and that was all it took. Clara's heart broke. She sat beside Lily on the swing, gently pushing it back and forth. "Sometimes grown-ups take longer than they mean to," she said softly, "but I'm sure he'll come back. Until then, how about we keep each other company?" For the next half hour they played together. Clara helped her build sandcastles, picked flowers, and even made funny animal voices that finally got Lily to giggle. But beneath that laughter, Clara sensed something deeper, a fear that wasn't just about being alone. When Lily's father still didn't show up, Clara decided to walk her to the park office. But as they approached the path, Lily froze. Her hand tightened around Clara's. "No," she whispered. "Please, not there. The man, he yells." Clara knelt down, confused and concerned. "Who yells?" "Sweetheart, the man who brings me here. He's not my daddy. Daddy went away." Those words struck Clara like lightning. She'd seen enough in her line of work. Neglect, heartbreak, broken homes. But the fear in Lily's voice wasn't the kind that came from a simple misunderstanding. It was the kind that came from trauma. Before Clara could ask more, a man in a sharp gray suit came striding toward them. His expression was tight with frustration, his phone pressed to his ear. "Lily, there you are!" he snapped, not even looking at Clara. Lily flinched. The man grabbed Lily's arm, too roughly for Clara's liking. "You can't just wander off like that!" he hissed. Clara stepped forward instinctively. "Excuse me," she said firmly. "You're hurting her." He shot her a glare. "And who exactly are you?" "The park police." "No," Clara said, standing her ground. "Just someone who doesn't like seeing a child treated like that." For a tense moment, their eyes locked, his cold and furious, hers steady and full of fire. Finally, the man huffed and muttered, "I'm her father's driver. He'll be furious if she's late again." "Driver?" Clara repeated. "Yes," he said sharply. "Mr. Harlow, her father. He's in a meeting nearby. He'll—" But before he could finish, another voice cut through the tension like a blade of calm through chaos. "Is there a problem here?" Clara turned and froze. The man standing behind the driver looked like he'd walked out of a magazine cover. Tall, composed, and dressed in a crisp suit, with eyes so strikingly blue they seemed to see right through her. Ethan Harlow, CEO of Harlow Industries, one of the most powerful companies in the city. His name was whispered in business circles, printed in magazines, but right now he didn't look like a CEO. He looked like a terrified father. "Lily," he breathed, running toward his daughter and scooping her into his arms. "Sweetheart, Are you okay?" The girl buried her face in his chest, trembling. Clara could tell instantly. This man wasn't the one Lily was afraid of. He held her with too much gentleness, too much relief. "What happened?" Ethan asked, looking between his daughter and Clara. The driver began to stammer excuses, but Clara calmly explained everything. The crying, the fear, the way Lily had spoken about being with the man. Ethan's face darkened as he listened. When she finished, he turned to his driver with a look so cold it could freeze stone. "You're fired, effective immediately." The man tried to argue, but Ethan didn't even raise his voice. "Leave, now." As the driver stormed off, Ethan turned back to Clara, his expression softening. "You have no idea what you just did for my daughter," he said quietly. "She's been terrified ever since her mother's accident. I thought hiring help would make things easier, but clearly, I've been trusting the wrong people." Clara shook her head. "I just did what anyone should do." Lol, but Ethan smiled. That kind of smile that seemed to hold both gratitude and something deeper. Not everyone would have done that. He offered to drive Clara home, but she refused politely. She didn't want anything in return. Yet as she walked away, Lily suddenly wriggled free from her father's arms and ran after her. "Wait," she cried, clutching her hand. "Can you come play with me again?" Clara hesitated. I don't know if that's okay, sweetie." Ethan stepped forward. "Actually, it's more than okay. If you're available, I'd like to hire you. Full time. To take care of Lily." Clara blinked. "You want me to be her nanny?" "Yes," he said simply. "You're the first person I've seen make her smile in months." Days turned into weeks. Clara became a part of Lily's small world, helping her paint, teaching her to cook simple meals, reading bedtime stories when Ethan worked late. Slowly, Lily began to heal. The nightmares faded. Her laughter returned. And Ethan noticed. Every evening, he'd come home and find his daughter asleep on the couch, her small hand wrapped around Clara's. Something about that sight thawed the ice that had built around his heart since his wife's passing. He started spending more time at home, not because of his fortune, but because, for the first time, home felt like something more than a penthouse with a view. If you've been moved by this story so far, take a moment to hit that like button, share this video with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to Kindness Universe for more real, powerful stories that remind us of the goodness in people. One evening, a thunderstorm rolled across the city. Lightning flickered through the windows, and Lily woke up crying. Clara rushed to her room, holding her close and humming softly. Ethan stood in the doorway, watching silently, not just Lily's fear fading, but the tenderness in Clara's every gesture. He realized then how much this woman had changed both their lives. When Lily finally drifted back to sleep, Ethan stepped closer. "You've done more for us than I can ever repay," he said. Clara smiled faintly. "You don't owe me anything, Mr. Harlow." He shook his head. "Ethan," he corrected gently. "Please call me Ethan." Their eyes met, and for the first time in a long time, both of them felt something neither expected, not romance, not attraction, but a kind of quiet understanding between two broken souls who had found healing in each other's presence. Months later, Clara sat with Lily and Ethan at the park, the same park where it all began. The sun was setting, painting the sky gold and pink. Lily was laughing, swinging higher than ever before, her laughter filling the air like music. Ethan turned to Clara. "I used to believe money could fix anything," he said. "Turns out, all it took was one person's kindness to change everything." Clara looked at him, her heart swelling with quiet gratitude. "Sometimes," she said softly, "it's the smallest acts of kindness that save the biggest hearts." And as the last rays of sunlight danced across their faces, it became clear. The poor nanny who once had nothing had given everything, and in doing so had found a family she never knew she was missing. Moral: compassion has no price tag. Sometimes one act of kindness can rebuild a life, heal a heart, and remind the world that love, in its purest form, still exists.